Avraham Chesed. What does that mean? It means I will build this world from love. And you must build this world from love. And if we build this world from love, then God will build this world from love. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Very happy that you could be here. Tonight, we honored some very important and special people. And I want to start by honoring a sacred partner in our community with whom we have developed a very deep bond because of the incredible work that they do to help women in recovery, women who may have struggled with substance abuse or substance use disorder. And because of Mary Haven, that incredible organization down the road, right next to our old temple, because of Mary Haven and their great work that they do all over Central Ohio, and the incredible sacred partner we have in Roseanne Rosen, who's also a congregant here at Temple Israel and grew up here at Temple Israel. We have built an incredible bridge going between worlds which may not have existed with the same level of interest in one another or the same level of holiness with one another. But indeed now, and especially due to the work of Clemmy Kuyten and Paula Kaufman, part of our social justice team, we get to reap the incredible benefits of being in this sacred partnership. And tonight, we're going to hear some words from Roseanne in a little while. And in the meantime, we are privileged to have our friend Clemmy Kuyten here. And Paula Kaufman cannot be here tonight, but she is grateful that for this recognition. She has a terrible excuse for not being here, so really you should make her feel bad. She's only celebrating her 50th wedding anniversary tonight with Jeff. We are forgiving people. So, they are away, but we are so happy to have Clemmy here to light our Shabbat candles and to bring in the light, as you do with so many people, Clemmy. And I also want to give a shout out to our whole social justice team, in particular to Bev Darwin and Mitchell Snee, who lead our team through all kinds of hurdles to create real lasting bonds with others in our community. So thank you all. And Clemmy, Shabbat Shalom, where are you? I'm going to ask you to take yourself off of mute, my friend Clemmy.
Can you hear me?
There you are.
Here.
And will you make the Shabbat blessing along with everybody else at home? You can light your Shabbat candles, bring in the light, and join Clemmy in our blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Amen.
Shabbat Shalom, Clemmy and Bob. Shabbat Shalom to all of you. And we are blessed. We are blessed. I want you to ask yourself tonight as we go into Shabbat, how are you feeling old? And I don't mean age. How are you feeling old? What have you known of life, of the deepest darkness and the grandest light in your life? Can you remember those moments? How are you feeling old, and when did you feel new? I think it's so important for us to hold on to that, because I'm hearing a lot of that, they call it pandemic fatigue, but it kind of just makes you feel a little old and tired, which is why we need to really claim and reclaim those moments in our life when we felt the vibrancy of, aha, that's a chizuk. I got just a shot in the arm and I'm back, baby, I'm back. And look at this picture. I mean, can we all just go there for a second? Go into that light. Embrace that maybe moment when that baby held onto your finger and you knew that you had a connection with that baby in your life, or maybe there was a moment of recognition in the work that you do and you put it out there into the world and you had some wonderful benefit, or maybe it was just that another person saw you, another person heard you, that made you feel new. So in all the ways that we feel old, that's in the past. Tonight on Shabbat, a little newness, a little refreshment. And thank God we can sing. We still can sing.
Amen.
Despite any darkness. So let's start, Cantor.
Sing with me, Chadodi, as we welcome our Shabbat bride. Ya la 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 lecha dodi, ya la 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 likrat kala, ya la 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 pnei Shabbat, pnei Shabbat nekam benai, ya la 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 lecha dodi, ya la 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 likrat kala, ya la 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 pnei Shabbat, pnei Shabbat nekam benai, shamor vezachor b'dibur echad, ishmianu el hamiyuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shemo tiferet v'litilai, yai lai lai, ya la 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 lecha dodi, ya la 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 likrat kala, ya la 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 pnei Shabbat, pnei Shabbat nekam benai, likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki mekor haberacha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sof maaseh b'machshava tefila, yai yai yai, ya la 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 lecha dodi, ya la 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 likrat kala, ya la 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 pnei Shabbat, pnei Shabbat nekam benai, hitoreri, ki ba'orech kumi ori, ori ori, shir daberi, kevod Adonai, alayich niglai, yai lai lai, ya la 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 lecha dodi, ya la 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 likrat kala, ya la 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 pnei Shabbat, pnei Shabbat nekam benai. We rise, bori v'shalom, ateret bala, גם בשמחה וזולה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה יאללה לה 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 לך דודי יאללה לה 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 לקראת כלה יאללה לה 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 פני שבת נקבלה יאללה לה 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 לך דודי יאללה לה 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 לקראת כלה יאללה לה 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 פני שבת נקבלה. We remain standing as we sing our formal call to our prayer together tonight, the Baruch Hu. Ya la la, ya la la la, ya ya ya, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya 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 ya. You may be seated.
Oh, I could almost hear the harmony happening there, all across the land of Columbus. So let's read this together and maybe we'll hear each other also and believe it. This is an hour of change. Within it, we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it, we stand on the border. We stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over?
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה אדוני צבאות שמו אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד ברוך אתה אדוני המעריב הרבים.
We are always going to cross over, but we do it with a beautiful instruction manual, the Torah. That's what we hold on to. Even when we fumble in the darkness of what's going to come, we have the solidity of wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love, God, than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form?
Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובמלאכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
We know what it's like to stand on that place of uncertainty, and you're just hoping that those waters, they're going to part. There is going to be this day when we wake up and we say, no COVID, I like it. I love it. I waited for this. I was patient. We were patient. We took each other's hands and we went ahead. We remember this throughout our history. And that's why every time we come to any service, we're always going to hear this stories of how we were redeemed. Because why? Because we need it. We need to know there's going to be dry land and there's going to be another side. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. ונאמר כי פדנו את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. We make a prayer for there to be just a peaceful tent over everyone we love, everyone we know, everybody we've read about. Just a little tent over their kepis tonight. Like somebody laid hands on their head and made the priestly benediction, just be safe, just be healthy, just find peace. Let's sing Hashkivenu together. Send out that prayer to everybody who needs that extra blessing tonight.
Let there be love and understanding Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Sing with me. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkivanu Adonai Eloheinu, Hashkivanu Leshalom, Vehamidenu Shomrenu Lechayim, Ufros Aleinu Sukat Shlomecha, Hashkivanu Adonai Eloheinu, Hashkivanu Leshalom, Hashkivanu Adonai Eloheinu, Hashkivanu Leshalom. We sing together Vishamru, remembering our covenant to keep Shabbat. And I share with you a melody that we first learned a long time ago when my dear friend, Rabbi and Cantor Jenny Shaban was here. She taught us this very fun, catchy melody for Vishamru by a wonderful colleague, Marcia Atti. And it goes like this. You'll catch on. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Sorry, I couldn't quite keep up with that one. But you got a preview of this magic moment when we welcome Roseanne Rosen to make a very special presentation tonight. And I just want to make one moment of recognition for how special it is that Roseanne is here, even though I know she doesn't want really any special anything. But, you know, sometimes you have to look at, like, is there somebody who's kind of the prime mover who makes it possible for other people to move? And I think of Roseanne as being one of those people. In the Parsha this week, we learn about Isaac. Isaac sort of gets squeezed out. You know, he was almost sacrificed by his father Abraham. Then his mother dies, Sarah. And now he's in a position in Parshat Toldot where actually his children and his wife, one of his children, Jacob, who becomes Israel, and his wife, Rebecca, both of them scheme to make it possible for a blessing and a birthright to go to one child over another. Esau is left out. Or that's at least my interpretation of the story, is that he gets kind of left out. And there's Yitzchak. His eyes are dimming. He says, I'm old and I'm going to die. He says this at the beginning of, before all these things happen in his family, and he sees the huge dysfunction, what's happening. But I actually think that of all the people who might call themselves blind, who may say, my eyes are dimming and I will die someday. I'm old. I'm going to die someday. There is some wisdom in Isaac. He has this sense of having lived so many lives. Can you imagine somebody living more than one life? Those are people who struggle so much. And maybe it's with addiction, and maybe it's with homelessness, maybe it's with hunger, maybe it's with abuse, maybe it's any number of challenges. And that person lives so many lives, and that person feels old. And yet, when you have the right people in your life, they're there to pick you up and help you feel a little bit younger, a little bit newer, and a little bit more ready to face challenges. I think of Roseanne Rosen's work, and I think of how she helps people move from that feeling of aging in this, even at young ages, to go through so much and to hold so much throughout their lives, particularly women in our community. I think of what a blessing it is to have her here, doing the sacred work she's doing and making it possible for us to connect through this important work that Mary Haven does. So I want to bless you and welcome you, Roseanne, and have you honor our special awardees tonight.
Well, thank you so much, Rabbi. Truly, I am honored by the words that you spoke, and I hope that I live up to those words someday. It's still a work in progress, but I appreciate it so much. It was really very kind of you. When Nanon Morrison, who is in our congregation tonight, gave me permission to go ahead and start the initiative Women in Support of Recovery, one of the first people that I reached out to was Rabbi Mars. And the reason that I did that is that the concern for social justice in the Reform synagogues, it was visible so many years ago. I remember marching, and I remember the temples being involved and concerned. And I heard that the same sense of social justice was front and center at Temple Israel. And I have certainly found that to be true. Rabbi suggested that I meet with members of Temple Israel's Social Justice Committee. So Mitch Snee and Bev Darwin and I met at Blocks. And the committee's new focus on the issue of substance abuse illness made us a perfect fit. That was the beginning of a meaningful relationship that Women in Support today is so grateful and so indebted to all of you. The very first project that the Social Justice Committee undertook, which seems like it was yesterday and yet it also seems like it was years ago, was to help educate the public about women with substance abuse illness. It was an incredible event that Izzy Neve was helping North Church with, the Concert for Cause. That was a beautiful evening.
And when I unmuted it.
It was a beautiful evening that I think started this wonderful partnership. The warmth and the sincere empathy shown by both congregations as they absorbed the powerful words expressed by residents of Mary Haven's Women's Center was the basis, I think, for this long, several years now, connection that we have had. And the determination of the Social Justice Committee, I always call it the Social Active Committee because they're so active and there's so much action. So I always call it the Social Action, but I know it's Social Justice Committee. To further educate your Temple congregation, they brought people to Mary Haven on Alum Creek. We had some of your congregation visit the Mary Haven Addiction Stabilization Center that serves the needs of both men and women, whether in the midst of an overdose or an active detox. And then Rabbi Mars welcomed 2 young women from the Women's Center to the pulpit to remind the congregation how impactful the work of your Social Justice Committee is. I don't even know if I put impactful all in capital letters and made it bold and as large as I could, if that could really, I think, cover how much your involvement has affected our women. In fact, we have a recording tonight from Kaylee, who spoke that evening. It's not even a year ago. I believe it was in either January or February. She couldn't be with us tonight, so she sent in a message to let you know what coming to Temple meant and what the help that she has received has meant to her from Temple Israel. So I believe Rabbi is going to play that.
Hi, my name is Kaylee, and I had the pleasure of speaking with you about a year ago. I am so happy that you are receiving this award. If anyone deserves it, it is you. I am so grateful to have had the opportunity to meet some of you. Your connection with Maryhaven and all that you do for us women in recovery has greatly impacted my life and my journey, as well as many others. I graduated the Women's Center after 8 months and decided to further my treatment somewhere else. I get to see my son frequently and am currently preparing for him to move in next month. And it is all possible because of you. So again, thank you.
Kaylee is doing so wonderfully. And I remember that night holding onto my hand, and she was squeezing and squeezing. And by the time she left, she said, I've never been so moved and felt so welcomed at any congregation, be it a church, a temple, or a mosque. And that's the kind of warmth that Rabbi and all of you and the Social Action Committee, Justice Committee, exudes to this wonderful community that we all are a part of. But that didn't stop all of the action that the Social Justice Committee decided to undertake. Those efforts were multiplied by the dedication of Clemmy Kaiden and Paula Kaufman. They sent volunteers to the Women's Center to help with baby shower and many other activities, whether it was cooking food or coming and just talking to the women. And also, I don't know if you know that you have a knitting group at Temple Israel that have come out and they've taught our women how to knit. So the tentacles of this relationship are all over. Also, one of the most beautiful days I think that the Social Justice Committee spent, at least in my heart, it was one of the most beautiful events that we were able to attend. And that's when you sponsored a Christmas party, complete with gifts, refreshments, activities, and most of all, meaningful interaction of Temple volunteers with men and women at our Alum Creek residential facility. That was a beautiful day, and more than 60 people were touched by that kindness that day. And still, that still isn't enough. They run collections of necessities and clothing, all kinds of things that women in support, women in recovery can use. Also, I mean, I could make this list very, very long, but even one Sunday afternoon, Temple Israel, under the guidance of the Social Justice Committee, Tommy and Paula, sent painters to redo a teen lounge at our Maryhaven Alum Creek address. It was wonderful, the camaraderie, the excitement, that feeling of wanting to help. Your Temple's family, infectious concern and support has altered lives. That's it in a nutshell. You have altered lives. Saying thank you many times over does not nearly express how appreciative we are of the contributions that you have made to the Women's Center and to all Maryhaven's programs. And as a new member, which Rabbi said, and as an old member, having been a congregant for many years at Temple Israel, it is truly with great personal pride and pleasure that I present Temple Israel's Social Justice Committee with the 2020 Women in Support of Recovery Award for outstanding service to Maryhaven. And Clemmy has, I've magically handed Clemmy the plaque. So I thank you for letting us be a part of your lives and you being a part of our lives. It's been a most meaningful and warm collaboration. And I know that Nanon as well thanks you sincerely. So take it away, Clemmy.
Oh, I didn't know we did all that.
Yes.
I have a few words that I'd like to say too. I hope some of you, I see some of you that are in this photo from the holiday party last year are here tonight too. So I just want to say on behalf of Temple Israel Social Justice Team, thank you truly for this incredible honor. Thank you, Roseanne and Kaylee, for your wonderful words. When our social justice team began and picked addiction and substance abuse 2.5 years ago, Rabbi Mars suggested we reach out to Roseanne Rosen, who might be a great fit and a great connection to Mary Haven. Since that moment, we haven't looked back. Through Roseanne's enthusiasm, respect, and commitment to the women and Mary Haven as a whole, we've had this great partnership as she's described. Roseanne mentioned some of our accomplishments. There were a lot of them. I think I can speak for all who have been involved in these projects, how truly humbling it is to sit down with a table of women or visit during a holiday party and realize we are all just a group of people who have different struggles and different opportunities. I know you are honoring us tonight for our work, but what we get back in return, you can't put a price tag on, and we all really mean that. We look forward to many, many more projects virtually and God willing, back together again. I can't wait. And I just want to thank Women in Support of Recovery, Mary Haven, Roseanne, and all the Temple Israel congregants and committee who have taken part in all these things. And I just look forward to more. Shabbat Shalom, and thank you for this really incredible honor.
Well, thank you, Clemmy and Paula. Thank you so much.
And Paula too.
I cannot think of a better way for us to go step into the presence of the holiness of Shabbat, the holiness of God's tent, than to I'm just kind of like floating here with this great pride, like just an amazing, amazing, beautiful thing. And I'm so grateful for all the tenacity that it took to actually imagine this project together, because spearheading something that is thorny and difficult and where it's gonna be, and I say this in the most loving way, it's gonna be like a little schmutzy. It's just gritty, it's tough, because we have to go there with people. We have to go with people on their journey. And I just am so grateful to Clemmy, Paula, the entire social justice team, and to you, Roseanne. Thank you so much. And gosh, if I wasn't, I'm just standing up straighter with that great glowing pride and gratitude. So with that, let's all stand up as we are able to and communicate our gratitude to that source of all for these holy lives that we are blessed with.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotinu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, v'Koneh Hakol, v'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, ומביא גאולה לבני אברהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל, אתה רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, בחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומדמך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמנת להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום, יהלך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Continuing silently and then sitting whenever we feel our prayer is finished.
Yai, 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 lai, lai. Ya la la, yai, 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 lai, lai.
We're thinking of a lot of people who may be ill, and we're sending them all of our best wishes for refuah shlema, for total health and healing. Among them, and I invite you to add any names to the chat for people you know are sick. But we are going to add our own list right here, and they include Harav Tuvia Levi, Ben Yosef, Tzvi HaKohen Uvatia, Daniel ben Baruch veCarmela, Carmela bat Sylvia veMac, Shraga ben Alexander, Yaakov Yitzchak ben David veRachav, Eliyahu ben Sarah, Harav Reuven Shlomo ben Mendel veLeah, Naomi bat Miriam veHarav Yosef, Gittel bat Yehuda v'Chaya, Zissel Chana bat Yita Rivka, Levia bat Rachel, Gabriela bat Nehemiah uDevorah, Yirmiyahu ben Yosef veRachel, Sandor ben Sarah, Norma Agranoff, Bob Aronson, Barbara Bumgarner, Pat Cottle, Jim Connolly, Lily Kovitz, Bree Craig. We're thinking about George Dickerson, Isabel Fazone, Larry Footer, Ellie Guinness, Nate Goldberg, Keisha Hutchins, Ethan Kadish, Ruth Kahn. We're thinking about Ray Carlsberger, Delma Killinger, Elizabeth Close, Jake Meyer, William Nolan, Anthony Paneth, Clark Patton, Helene Paselnik, Cassie Rush, Lisa Scher, Ben Simon, Doug Stossel, Jeff Swartz, Lee Tenenbaum, Annette Turner, and Sydney Young. And we help the Cantor as she sings this prayer for the healing of all those who are mentioned, and everyone.
We sing together. Try that with me. Repeat these words. Dear God of our ancestors, help us renew our faith. Grant us a perfect healing. Bring peace to all our days. We sing together.
and a prayer for caregivers. As we enter this new phase of the pandemic, we are praying in particular for people who are doing the most simple of duties, but executing them outside of the comfort of their own home. And some of their duties are extraordinary. For all who are faithfully taking care of the community's needs, may God reward them, protect them from, and remove from them all sickness and heal them completely. May God send them blessings and success in all they do, together with all of humanity. And let us say, Amen.
Please join with me as we read together a prayer for our country. Our God and God of our ancestors, we ask your blessings for our country, for its government, for its leaders and advisors, and for all who exercise just and rightful authority. Teach them insights of your Torah, that they may administer all affairs of state fairly, that peace and security, happiness and prosperity, justice and freedom may forever abide in our midst. Creator of all flesh, bless all the inhabitants of our country with your spirit. May citizens of all races and creeds forge a common bond in true harmony, to banish hatred and bigotry, and to safeguard the ideals and free institutions that are the pride and glory of our country. May this land under your providence be an influence for good throughout the world, uniting all people in peace and freedom, and helping them to fulfill the vision of your prophet. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they experience war anymore. And let us say, Amen.
Amen, amen, amen. And a prayer for the state of Israel. Rock and champion of Israel, please bless the state of Israel, first fruit of the flourishing of our redemption. Guard it in the abundance of your love, spread over it the shelter of your peace. Send forth your light and truth to those who lead and judge it, and to those who hold elective office. Establish in them through your presence wise counsel, that they might walk in the way of justice, freedom, and integrity.
Avinu, Avinu, Shebashamayim, Tzur Yisrael v'Gola. Avinu, Avinu, Shebashamayim, Tzur Yisrael v'Gola.
I stand up.
Amen, amen. And we are going to stand for Aleinu as we come to the end of our service.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated, everyone. We come to Kaddish and we think about those people who made us who we are. And we remember them, acknowledging recent deaths and deaths that happened at this time in years past. In particularly, we want to acknowledge the recent passing of the brother of Sheila Gabe and once a congregant of our synagogue, Steve Zwelling, who passed away this week. I will remember his booming voice and his wonderful participation. In the period of Shloshim, the 30 days, we remember Jane Hooker, Karen Landisberg, Patton Arvidsson, Alice Bain, and Stephen Kahn. If you're joining us during the 11-month period, having lost somebody you love recently, if you can, please stand and or acknowledge in the chat box the person for whom you are remembering. We ask you to do that right now. And as you hear the names of loved ones who are on our Kaddish list tonight, our Yahrzeit list, I'll ask you to please stand. Tonight we're remembering Alvin Abrahamson, Sarah Lang Beckman, Nathan Blyman, Esther Bluth, Marie Butler, Anthony Casey, Naomi Klein, Ruth Jean Cowan, Robert H. Darwin, Ida Newer Eisenberg, Maddie Charnes Finkelman, Andrew Lewis Fisher, Lloyd Folkman, Doris Freed, Evelyn Herskowitz, Louis J. Cassin, Rose Kalinowski, Fanny G. Kessler, Frances Cohen Claren, Ida A. Kobacker, Phyllis Landman, Barbara Leibowitz, Helen Levine, Solomon Mark Levy, Alan Longert, George Lubo, Bobby H. Lurie, Alfred Malt, Selma Martin, Alan J. Myers, Robert Millanig, Joseph Nacht, Celia Perlmutter, Mildred Rosenberger, Jonas Rosenthal, David Roth, Elsie Scheiman, Pauline Rosenfeld Schaffer, Saul D. Shaman, Stephen R. Solomon, Eve Zeitzman Tull, James L. Thal, and Lana Zeitzman. And if there are any additional names, if you'll please write them in the chat box or just stand and say their name. We give honor and pay homage to all of those whose names we mentioned with the words of Kaddish Yatom. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba, be'olma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam ul'almei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitale v'yithalal shmei d'kudsha brichu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'olma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama Rabba bin Shemaya, b'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru amen. May the source of peace bring peace to all of you who mourn, comfort to everyone who is grieving. Zichronan livracha, may their memories continue to bless and lift you up always. And we say, amen. You can be seated, friends. And here we are at the end of our Shabbat service, but Shabbat continues. Cantor, do you want to announce what's happening tomorrow?
Sure. We have a really wonderful Shabbat planned starting at 10 a.m. I'll be with the Tots, and at 11 a.m. I invite anyone to come for Shabbat blessings and prayers, and we'll read my favorite Parsha of Toldot. It's a very dramatic story, and just so you know, just to share a little tradition, we know that the birthright, right, is sold this Parsha for a cup of soup, and it's lentil soup. And every Parsha, I wish you could smell my lentil soup that I have cooking up in my kitchen. But so join me tomorrow, and we'll read the very dramatic portion at 11 a.m.
Did you know that was my favorite Torah portion too?
Of course, I don't doubt that, Rabbi.
Are we nerding out here? We're nerding out. Okay. Tomorrow morning, also concurrent with Tat Shabbat. So you could have two screens going, I suppose, but Jewish meditation. There'll be different energy for sure. Jewish meditation one, please. Tat Shabbat the next. And then Musar, our study of character traits. And we'll continue this week. Join us at 9:30 on Sundays. And we're going into Thanksgiving. Incredible? Yes, it is incredible that we're going to Thanksgiving. It'll be one like we've never had, friends, but it'll be small, and maybe it'll make us really think about, how grateful we are for everything. So, but we are going to be having Shabbat next week. Join me, and my daughter Tal will be on guitar. And we're going to give the Cantor a little time off. And we are thinking of others this season. We're kind of always thinking of others, but we do have all these special opportunities to give. So one very special thing we want to inform you of is a mitten and sock drive. All of this is available on our website, but please keep in mind Sunday, December 6th, after Thanksgiving, a great opportunity to come to our new building, to see all the gorgeous plantings that have happened there. The landscaping is like out of this world and makes me so excited that someday we'll show you the inside of the building too. So please stock up if you're thinking about, maybe I can't get out. You can also give money towards this. And all the details, again, are available on the website. But socks and mittens, fingers and toes this time of year, very, very important to keep warm. Cantor, I'm going to let you just.
Sure. And right after Thanksgiving, as we prepare for that drive, we have Hanukkah coming right up, and we are planning 8 brilliant nights where you are the light, as it says. So you can check out which evening we are dedicating to a special group. Of course, everybody is invited for the first night and the last night to bring your menorot, your Chanukiah, to light the lights together. And then each night we'll have something special, and something very special on Friday night. I think there's another slide, the next one, right? So that Friday night of Hanukkah, we're having Alan Goodis, who's a wonderful song leader and prayer leader, and he's created this wonderful Hanukkah video with our kids of the Havana Shira little youth theatrical musical troupe, and it will be a very special night. And we invite you to bring your menorah, bring your family, your virtual family, and light our Shabbat candles and also our menorah together to bring in as much light as we can during this time.
Got to grow that light.
Yes.
And maybe a latke or two. That also helps. But in the meantime, challah and wine.
If you have something sweet, please raise your glass and join me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ava uvratzon hinchi lanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reshit ki hu yom techila l'mikra'e kodesh zecher l'tziat mitzrayim kivanu varchata ve'otanu kitashta mikol ha'amim ve'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava ufratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
Amen.
Chaim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Mazel tov again to Clemmy Kaiden. Thank you again for your wonderful words, and Mazel tov to Paula Kaufman. Thank you all for being here tonight. Please stay well. Please hunker down and find some newness to embrace in your life. And Shabbat Shalom. Thanks for coming.
Oh, say shalom, shalom, v'rahma. Say shalom aleinu ve'al Yisrael ve'imru amen. Say shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael amen. Everyone, oh, say shalom, shalom, v'rahma. Say shalom.